When a man who built an empire on bold truths suddenly disappears from the conversation forever, silence becomes the loudest clue. And when Joe Rogan breaks that silence with a 3-hour special filled with timelines, leaks, and cold receipts, the entire internet stops breathing. He didn't gossip, he detonated a truth bomb. And the person trembling in the blast zone wasn't a stranger. It was the woman who once shared his home. The official story never made sense. But now, after Rogan's revelations, the world is asking one terrifying question: was this tragedy fate? Or was it engineered? The episode began without music, without a guest, without any warning, just a silent studio and Joe Rogan, staring into the camera like a man who finally decided to stop holding back. His voice was steady, almost cold. When he said the line that would ignite the country, "I'm done protecting people who don't deserve protection." For a moment, nobody knew who he meant. But that confusion didn't last long. This wasn't about politics. This wasn't about clicks. This was about what really happened to Charlie, and why the people closest to him were suddenly acting like transparency was a threat, not a duty. Rogan started slow, almost conversational, recalling the way Charlie once said, "If I ever go quiet, something is very, very wrong." That sentence hung in the air like smoke. Then, Rogan leaned forward, pulled out a slim folder, and the temperature in the room dropped. "These," he said, tapping the folder, "are things I never wanted to see. And things I definitely didn't want to talk about. But here we are." The first thing he showed wasn't dramatic. It was a timeline, simple, clean, but devastating. Charlie's wife, Erica Kirk, had publicly claimed she was at a donor gala miles away from home the night everything happened. She said she returned the next morning when she heard the news. She said she had no idea. She said she was heartbroken, but the jet logs Rogan displayed told a different story. Her plane landed just before midnight. Her phone pinged a tower minutes from the house. Rogan let it sit for a full 10 seconds before speaking again. "If you were really across the country," he said quietly, "why did your jet land at 11:54 p.m.? Social media exploded instantly. Millions of people clipping that moment, replaying it, arguing over it. But Rogan wasn't finished, not even close. What came next shifted the entire investigation. He pulled up security data records from the home system. The cameras went offline for maintenance between 11:30 p.m. and 4 a.m., the exact window when Charlie's final hours supposedly unfolded. 6 years, Rogan said. 6 years those cameras never shut off. Not once. But the one night it mattered. They died. All of them. A backup generator had failed. Something Rogan noted would require direct manual interference. Coincidence? The internet didn't think so, but Rogan wasn't interested in speculation. He moved to the next set of documents. Bank transfers. Nearly $5 million moved from a joint marital account into an offshore shell company tied to one of Erica's college acquaintances. 9 days before the tragedy, Rogan said. 9 days. He didn't accuse her directly. He didn't need to. The evidence was painting its own picture, and everyone watching could feel the tension tightening around their throat. Then came the messages. Rogan revealed text, screenshots blurred to protect sources but readable enough to strike like lightning. They showed Charlie confronting his wife about a rumored affair with a high-ranking donor, someone still unnamed but unmistakably powerful. The last text Charlie ever sent was time-stamped. 1:07 a.m., his phone was wiped just hours later. Rogan didn't raise his voice. He didn't perform. He just stared into the camera with a look of betrayal that echoed what millions were feeling. He trusted the wrong people. He whispered. The internet erupted like a volcano. Clips everywhere. Theories everywhere. Old interviews resurfacing, especially the moment when Charlie joked, "If anything ever happens to me, Erica gets everything. That's why I never let her cook without a taster." People laughed back then. Nobody was laughing now. Things escalated when Candace Owens entered the battlefield. Less than 30 minutes after the episode dropped, she posted a blazing video from her car, eyes full of fire. "I told you," she said. "I warned you." The danger wasn't outside his inner circle. It was sitting beside him. She didn't hold back. Not even a little dot in her livestream, which shattered platform records. She revealed her own receipts, hotel footage, alleged account changes, encrypted calls traced overseas, and a mysterious legacy pivot meeting Erica had scheduled just 1 week before Charlie's passing. People began to choose sides instantly. Some stood with Erica, saying grief makes people act strange. Others believed Rogan and Owens, seeing a pattern too sharp to ignore. Within hours, hashtags exploded across platforms. Hashtag what really happened. Hashtag the Kirk files. Hashtag Erica Knows Type USA headquarters became a battlefield of signs, chants, candles, and chaos. Supporters demanded truth, critics demanded peace. Meanwhile, Erica released a short statement, not a denial, not an explanation, just one calm sentence: "Speculation dishonors my husband's legacy." But instead of calming the storm, it fueled it. Where was the denial? Where was the transparency? Where was the certainty that a grieving wife would naturally offer? The more she stayed quiet, the louder the world screamed. Behind closed doors, insiders whispered about late-night board meetings, donors threatening to pull support, internal audits triggered out of desperation. Some claimed Erica's leadership seat was shaking, others said she controlled too much to be removed. Meanwhile, independent investigators online and off started digging into the missing 12 minutes of camera footage, the odd timing of emergency calls, and the board members who suddenly stopped making public appearances. Even major media outlets had no choice but to cover the unfolding war. They tried to stay neutral, but neutrality can't survive in a story this explosive. Polls showed that 62% of viewers felt Erica knew more than she was saying. Gen Z numbers climbed even higher, up to 78%. This wasn't just gossip anymore. This was a political earthquake. Owens announced a truth summit, inviting whistleblowers, donors, and even Erica herself. She claimed she had one final piece to reveal, something that would flip the case upside down. And if that wasn't enough fuel, Rogan hinted on his own show, "If Candace is right, then this is bigger than any of us thought." That single comment turned suspicion into wildfire. Now, with the case quietly reopened by investigators, with Erica vanishing from social media, with allies distancing themselves, and enemies circling like sharks, the world is left with a terrifying question: is this all smoke? Or is someone desperately trying to hide the fire? Because in the high-stakes world of influence, loyalty, and power, silence isn't innocence. Silence is strategy. And right now, the silence is deafening. If you've made it this far, then you already know one thing: this story isn't ending here. Too many questions, too many contradictions, too many people hoping you'll scroll away and forget. Don't. The truth only comes out when people refuse to stay silent. So hit like if you want the next chapter, comment what you think really happened, and subscribe, because the moment new evidence drops, you'll see it here first. This isn't just content, this is a fight for answers, and you're now part of it.